Hey everybody, and welcome along to my third battle report. Sorry it's been a while to get this one out, just with the holidays and work and everything else. It's taken me quite some time. So just a quick preface, as you may have noticed, it's for a practically uncomp tournament. The only comp being that they're not using the end of times Kane magic rules, but everything else is allowed. The Eternity Host, the Undead Legions and the Chaos Legions, so it should be fun. I'm just taking my Dark Elves. I couldn't stoop low enough to take High Elves or Wood Elves into my army. So this is for a tournament at the end of February called the Falkirk Free For All. Maybe some of you will be going to that. I've not actually looked through any of my subscribers, but if you are, this is probably going to be very similar to the list I'm taking. So I don't think it's an open list, but I'm not too bothered about that. I'm only there to have fun. Anyway, going to quickly go over my army. Any comments or hints on the army you wish to give, please feel free. So here's the list. Here's for the Dark Elves. I have Helbron, special character. Everyone knows how horrible she is. Got a Supreme Sorceress, it's level 4 to Shadow Magic with the Dark Steed, Talisman of Preservation, and a Dispel Scroll. I have a Death Hag BSB on a Cauldron of Blood. I have a Master with a Dark Pegasus, Cloak of Twilight, Sea Dragon Cloak, Heavy Armour, Shield and Lance. He can deal with any war machines or monsters. I have 2 units of 5 Dark Riders with Musician and Standard. I have 30 Witch Elves with Full Command and Razor Standard. I have 30 Executioners with the Banner of Swiftness. I then have 3 Repeater Bolt Throwers and 2 units of 5 Doomfire Warlocks. Now up against my friend's Warriors Chaos army. So he has a few proxies there, but not too much. I'll explain those as I go. So he has a Chaos Lord, who is Mark of Tzeentch, Disc of Tzeentch, Third Eye of Tzeentch, Soul Feeder, Chaos Armour, Shield, Crown of Command, Talisman of Preservation, and Berserker Sword. He also has a Chaos Sorcerer Lord, who is level 4 with the Mark of Tzeentch, Disc of Tzeentch, Scaled Skin, and the Armour of Destiny. He has an Exalted BSB, who's a Mark of Khorne. He's on Juggernaut Khorne with the Charm, Shield, Dawnstone, and the Sword of Might. And he has Festus the Leech Lord. For his core, he has 2 Chaos Chariots with Mark and Nurgle, 23 Chaos Warriors with the Mark and Nurgle, Full Command, Banner of Swiftness. He then has 5 Chaos Knights, Mark of Nurgle, Full Command, and Ensorcelled Weapons. And a unit of 5 Skull Crushers with Full Command and Ensorcelled Weapons. Pretty solid list. But here's the spells for me. I have 40 Shadow and 2 from the Warlocks. And here are my opponent's spells. He has 4 from Tzeentch and 2 from Nurgle. And on to deployment. So on the left flank, we do actually roll up Dawn Attack, so it was randomised on where things were. So on his left flank, we have a Chaos Chariot. We then have his unit of Skull Crushers with his Lord, with his Exalted Hero in there. And you see there's a couple of ogres just representing Skull Crushers there, and his hero's actually on a horse as he doesn't have one on a Skull Crusher, but says, I need some practice, so he's just helping out, I don't mind the proxies. Then have in the centre his 5-man strong unit of Chaos Knights, his Sorcerer Lord on a Disc of Tzeentch, and his 23 Chaos Warriors with Festus the Leech Lord in them. And on his far flank we have his other chariot and his Sorcerer Lord, who's on a disc and not actually on the Hound there. He's using the Arbal model. On my right flank I have a Repeating Bolt Thrower. In the centre I have a unit of Dark Riders. I then have 2 other Bolt Throwers. My Master, he is on his Dark Pegasus. I then have a unit of 5 Doomfire Warlocks, a unit of 30 Executioners, and another unit of 5 Dark Riders. And on my left flank I have my Witch Elves, Cauldron of Blood, and Hellbrawn. And on the left flank there I have another unit of 5 Dark Riders with my Sorceress. So this is after Vanguards. Not too much done. I've got my 2 units of Dark Riders just move up a little, and my Doomfire Warlocks go forward just enough. Not any charge range of the Skull Crushers. So top of turn 1. I apologise for the... Sorry, it's not a bloody pick, it just never loaded up correctly for me. But his Chaos Knights charge my unit of Dark Riders who flee. A little farther than I expected. They bounce through the bolt thrower there and just pop out the other side, just failing to flee off the board. The bolt thrower takes Panic Test, and of course I roll double 6s, and bolt thrower can't fire first turn. Up here he moves his chariot up and brings his Skull Crushers heading up, trying to get himself into a better position for next turn. And on this flank he moves his sorcerer, his Chaos Lord up, his warriors march up a little, and his chariot comes as far forward as it can. And also in this one you can just see where his Sorcerer Lord has moved forward. On to magic, he gets off Pink Fire of Tzeentch. Fortunately he rolls a misfire though, and it basically a flame template from the front of the caster's base, and nothing goes off. He then tries to cast Tzeentch's Firestorm, which gets dispelled. And he then uses Glean Magic on my Doomfire Warlocks. Now, I wasn't 100% certain that that can be used on the Doomfire Warlocks, but we played it that he could, and I used my Dispel Scroll on it just to make sure that he wasn't stealing Soul Blight or Doombolt. But if you do have another opinion on that and can shed some light on that for me, just let me know. So, start of my turn, I have no charges, and my unit of Dark Riders fail to rally, so they just run straight off the board. Really not much I could do there. It was a waste of 120 points. As you can then see, I start moving everything up, getting into position for next turn. I have my other unit of Dark Riders chaff up the Skull Crushers and Exalted Hero. My Doomfire Warlocks move up to just the front of the building there. They are sitting side by side and angled with the one just in front of the building. Just couldn't fit off the hill without the movement tray falling down, so that's why they're there. And over on the far left you can see my Doomfire Warlocks with my Sorceress have moved up just out of the charge arc of that chariot just to annoy him. In the centre, my Master has just got himself into position, hasn't moved too much. My Executioners have moved forward, and my Witch Elves with Cauldron and Hellbrawn just come round, see what they can do. On the magic phase, I cast Melkor's Mystifying Miasma on the Skull Crushers and lower their initiative by D3. Managed to get 3 off, so they're sitting at initiative 2 just now, which wasn't too bad. I then cast Soul Blight on his Chaos Knights just to try and make it easier for my bolt throwers to take them out. So unfortunately, after lowering the initiative of the Skull Crushers, I tried to cast Pit of Shades on them, give myself a chance to get rid of a few of those, but I failed to cast, so the lowered initiative for them was pretty much useless. On to the shooting phase, I do 1 wound with the Dark Riders on the Skull Crushers. And I also failed to do a single wound to the Soul Blighted Knights with my 2 bolt throwers that could fire this turn. Top of turn 2 then, his Chaos Lord charges the flank of my Master, who flees, gets out of position. The Skull Crushers take the bait and have to charge into my Dark Riders, which should be good. If they will destroy the Dark Riders, they overrun, and I get the flank charge with the Executioners. That's the hope anyway. He then charges his Chaos Source Lord into the Executioners, hoping to stop exactly what I just said there. He does have the 3-up ward save, so there's a fair chance he may be able to do that. Knights just move forward slightly. We used the runes just as difficult terrain and for cover as per a forest, just for the rules, and it saved any real hassle. So his warriors in the centre, they march up also. They are almost right on top of me now. And as you can see, that's where his lord ended up after the failed charge. So into magic, and it's 12 dice to 8, so he gets a full complement of dice for magic. He tries to cast Curse of the Leper on his... Try to think who it was he cast it on again. Can't remember, but it got dispelled. He then casts Blades of Putrefaction on his Sorcerer, just giving him poisoned attacks, making him wound. I think he was trying to get some more dispel dice out of me. He then miscasts Zinchi's Firestorm, and that goes up against Helbron and her unit. I mean, I can't use Helbron's special item that gives her +4 against anything being cast at her. And after all said and done, ward saves, I lose 8 Witch Elves, so not too bad. Still certainly effective to fight, but it's a big hit. So over here, no shooting, and on to combat. We have the Dark Riders, who do nothing to the Skull Crushers and get annihilated. Then the overrun, as you can see, would have been perfect. I could have charged straight into the side of them with the Executioners. Unfortunately, I refuse a challenge, and he kills a couple, and I fail to do anything to him. He loses combat, but he sticks around. So this is now on to the top of 3. As you can see, my Doomfire Warlocks come across. His chariot, which had manoeuvred last time, I think I forgot to take a picture of that, and was trying to get my Doomfire Warlocks, who just move out of the way again. After all said and done, there's not much more movement than that. My Master does rally. Magic, nothing happens at all. On to shooting. Bolt Thrower does 3 wounds to this chariot on the flank here. And in my combat phase, we kill the Sorcerer Lord. We break the Sorcerer Lord this time, catch him, and we play this pursuit as an overrun. So I shouldn't actually have been in the flank of these Skull Crushers here, which we didn't realise till long after the game. John had messaged me about 20 minutes after he'd left my house, and it wasn't until then that I realised we played this wrong. But as you can see, we played it from here. It doesn't make too great a difference in the game overall, but he would have had a lot more. I wouldn't have been in that turn, so yes, the difference was I shouldn't have been able to do it. So before you all flame on my comments for it, I'm aware. From there, the Chaos Warriors also charge my Master, who decides he's not sticking around for that. He flees again. They then redirect into one of my Bolt Throwers, and his Chaos Lord charges the other Bolt Thrower. And the Chariot, quite a long charge this one, but he gets in to wreak some revenge for the 3 wounds that I just did to it. Then on to Other charges we get is the Chaos Knights go into the rear of my Executioners here. He lost 1 to Dangerous Terrain when he charged out of the ruins which we were using as woods. So lots of charges this time, so lots of combat for Chaos to get me in. So there's no shooting, magic's pretty much a bust, and we go into combat. The Bolt Thrower crew actually do 2 hits, 2 wounds on the Chaos Lord. He has the 3 upward save for re-rolling 1s, so he fails an armor save, and he rolls a 2 for his ward save, taking 1 wound for his troubles. Unfortunately, all 3 bolt throwers then die, so that's the end of my shooting. Over here, there's a challenge. The Chaos Knight champion kills my champion quite easily, nothing much happens. That was a shame. Over here, he then peels off most of my back rank. I do a few wounds in return. I do a wound on his BSB, and I think I kill 1 more Blood Crusher, Skull Crusher, sorry, and he wins the combat. I'm steadfast, and he reforms to be in the position he should have been originally, but it's not looking good for my Executioners, unfortunately. We then go into the bottom of 3, and I charge my Witch Elves into the flank of those Chaos Knights who are in the rear of my Executioners, trying to even out that fight a little bit. And considering Hellbrun's in there, probably more than even that fight. And I move a few other things round. My Sorceress and Doomfire Warlocks move in. Other Warlocks move in. This is where the fight's going to really be decided. Onto magic, and I use Mail Cloth Mystify Miasma and reduce the Skull Crusher's weapon skill by 3. So tipping the scales in my favour there. He has to issue a challenge in the combat phase, which Hellbron gladly accepts. And yes, the Knight champion gets destroyed. I gain max overkill in the challenge. He then wipes off the whole next rank of Executioners. I managed to kill another Skull Crusher, put another wound on the BSB, and do 2 wounds to another Skull Crusher. After combat said and done, I win the combat. He breaks. My Executioners run down the Skull Crushers, and the BSB dies automatically. My Witch Elves catch the Knights and stop just about there. Takes us up onto the top of turn 4, and my Master decides to stick around this time and accept a charge from the wounded Chaos Lord. I don't see that going very well. Over here, the Chariot decides to charge into my Executioners and makes it. The Warriors pull up to the side here, preparing to charge next turn into my Witch Elves. Go onto Magic. He casts Blades of Putrefaction on his Chaos Lords. I don't know if he was just trying to get my dice out, but gives him poisoned attacks. And my Master actually survives a round of combat. Takes 2 wounds for his troubles, but does manage to stick around, so holds up that Chaos Lord, which was fine. We're on to the bottom of turn 4. As you can see, after impact hits and things there, I don't have a lot of Executioners left, but I was steadfast, just. So my Doomfire Warlocks and Sorceress's unit charge into the rear of the chariot, and I'm hoping that we can kill that off before he gets to strike back. My Witch Elves just reform to take the charge from the warriors next turn, and my other Doomfire Warlocks start moving round because there is another chariot over that side of the table. On the magic phase, I do get off the Withering on his Chaos Lord, so it makes him easier to wound. He's still got great armour save. I've got absolutely no bonuses this turn, so I'm at least wounding him on 2s. That will help. Up here we take 2 more wounds to the chariot. I didn't manage to kill it, but we do break it, and it runs into combat, and my master dies, and he just reforms his lord to face the Witch Elves as well. So top of turn 5, and it's all in, all or nothing. The unit of Chaos Warriors and the Chaos Lord all charge in. And there's nothing else that happens, so there's a challenge, and Helbron accepts from the Chaos Lord. We keep going, and he does 2 wounds to Helbron. Helbron does 1 wound back, so both on 1 wound then, and it's Helbron gets to strike first with up between 8 and 10 attacks next turn. We'll see how that goes, if I can get through that ward save. The actual fight itself, there's a lot of death and destruction and mayhem. As you can see, he's done a fair bit of damage to me. I made a few ward saves though. I managed to kill off a rank or so of his warriors. On this side, my Doomfire Warlocks charge into the oncoming chariot. It's only got 1 wound left, so hopefully I'll be able to kill that off before anything happens. Oh, a quick picture of Festus the Leech Lord himself. Forgot that one was in there. Sorry, John. I then tried to cast Occam's Mindrazor with make the combat in the middle. So the Witch Elves almost got Occam's. Unfortunately, it got dispelled. I then get off Soul Blight on the Chaos Warriors, so bringing them down to Strength and Toughness 3, which should even things out a little in the fight. On to combat, the Doomfire Warlocks take care of the chariot easily enough with poisoned attacks. And in the challenge, Helbron sneaks the last wound through before he gets to strike back, killing the unkillable Lord. But over here, the Witch Elves don't do so good. I do 13 wounds, but I only managed to kill 3. So he made 10 of his 4-up armour saves, which, got to admit, was a little disappointing. But he also didn't do much back because of the Lord's strength and toughness. He breaks, the Witch Elves chase him down, but they don't catch him. And we decide to call the game there, and that's a victory for the Dark Elves. So yeah, that was the game. Other than the little mistake with the pursuit charge, I think it went reasonably okay. I'm quite happy with my list. But of course, any comments or recommendations, hints, advice, or slander that you want to give me for it, please feel free. Just a little more information about the tournament. They're running a Dirty Dozen style list on the first day. The 3 main organisers are going to look at all the 12 lists as they have to be submitted beforehand, and the 12 most dirty lists, hence the Dirty Dozen, are only going to be playing each other on the first day. So although it's uncomped, it gives the people with softer lists a slight chance. I'm debating I am probably going to end up in the Dirty Dozen, considering I'm running Hellbrawn, Executioners and Witch Elves, so I may or may not. We'll see how that goes. I'm looking forward to it. don't know how I'll feel coming up against the Eternity King or some of the Chaos Legions, but I don't think we'll do too badly. I think Helbron's one of the few models that has any sort of chance to kill Malekith in combat, so we'll see how that goes. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If there's anything you want to say, please feel free to comment. I will reply to every comment if I can. And enjoy. Have a good day.